IELTS Bite.
Hello and welcome in. It is so genuinely good to have you here with us today.
It really is. I'm so excited for this one.
Yeah, me too. And I'm talking directly to you, the listener, because we know you've been working so hard on your English.
Right. Putting in the hours.
Exactly. And you've probably been wrestling with what it really means to bridge that gap, between just knowing a language on paper.
Like the grammar rules and vocabulary.
Right. Knowing it on paper versus actually living in it, feeling comfortable speaking it.
That's the hardest part, honestly.
It is. So before we even get into any techniques today,
Yeah.
I want to start by asking you a question. And I want you to really think about this for a moment.
Yeah, take your time with it.
When you speak English, do you feel like a slightly smaller, maybe quieter, more hesitant version of yourself?
Oh, wow. That is such a vital question.
Do you feel disconnected from the funny, intelligent person that you know you are in your native language?
I think so many people relate to that. It's a huge psychological toll.
It really is. And if you just nodded your head or if you felt a little tightness in your chest right now, I want you to know you are not alone.
Definitely not. It's incredibly common.
More importantly, this entire conversation today was custom tailored for you. Our mission right now is super clear.
Yep. No grammar drills today?
None. We are not going to memorize lists of rare vocabulary. Instead, we're going to unlock your natural English flow.
I love that. Natural flow.
We want you to leave this feeling totally relaxed, understood, and just highly motivated to claim your physical space in the language.
Exactly. Because at the B2 and C1 levels, the grammar is largely already in your head, right?
Right. You already have complex thoughts.
Yeah. The vocabulary is filed away. But the moment you open your mouth, the words they don't flow the way you want them to.
They get stuck. So we're going to deconstruct exactly why that happens and how to fix it.
Using the actual mechanics of human speech.
Yes. Now, to get us warmed up and out of our heads, we're going to do a simple physical activity.
Remember, this is a two-way street. You have to participate.
Exactly. So I'm going to ask you a question about your morning routine, and I want you to speak your answer out loud.
Out loud, not just in your head.
Right. Wherever you are right now, in your kitchen, walking the dog, whatever, just speak to us. Here is the question. What time did you wake up today? And what was the very first thing you did?
We'll give you 5 seconds. Go ahead and answer out loud right now.
We're listening.
Say it out loud.
Okay, great job.
Yeah, really good.
And listen, it does not matter if your answer was perfectly constructed.
Not at all.
It doesn't matter if you stumbled over a verb tense. What matters is that you used your voice. You initiated the physical act of speaking.
And that physical act is the absolute core of everything we're talking about today.
It really is.
Because true fluency at this advanced level, it's not about speaking faster. That's probably the most pervasive myth in language learning.
Okay, let me push back on that right away, though.
Sure.
Because when I turn on a movie or if I'm listening to native speakers in a cafe, it sounds incredibly fast.
No, absolutely.
The sheer speed of the syllables, it feels like a physical barrier. Are you saying they aren't actually speaking fast?
It is a brilliant illusion.
An illusion.
Yeah. And to understand why English sounds so fast and why it's so hard to produce smoothly, we have to look at the invisible architecture of the language.
Okay.
We have to look at its heartbeat.
The heartbeat of the language. I absolutely love that framework. Let's dig into that. What exactly do we mean by the heartbeat?
Well, every single language on Earth has a rhythm, right?
Right.
Infants actually learn the rhythm of their native language while they're still in the womb.
Wow. Before they even know a single word.
Exactly. But not all linguistic rhythms work the same way. We need to talk about the difference between syllable-timed languages and stress-timed languages.
Okay, let's unpack this for the listener. Let's start with syllable-timed languages. How do those work?
So in a syllable-timed language, every single syllable gets almost the exact same duration of time.
Okay.
Think of languages like Spanish or French or Japanese.
Right.
The energy is distributed perfectly evenly. It sounds very steady. Da 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 da.
Like a machine gun. Or like a metronome clicking at a perfectly even pace.
Yes, exactly. Every syllable gets equal respect.
Equal real estate in this.
Precisely. But English is an entirely different beast.
The metronome.
No. English is a stress-timed language. This means it operates on heavy beats and light off beats.
Okay, so peaks and valleys.
Right. Peaks of loud sounds and deep valleys of soft, compressed sounds.
So if syllable-timed Spanish is like a perfectly even machine gun, English is like, what?
It's much more like a human heartbeat. Love the UB. love do you be?
Oh, I see.
Or like a person walking with a heavy limp, a heavy step, then a light step, then a heavy step.
Right.
In English, the stressed syllables happen at regular intervals of time, no matter how many unstressed syllables you cram in between them.
That is wild to think about. Okay, quick activity for you listening right now.
Get ready.
Think about your native language for a second. Does it sound perfectly even, like a machine? Or does it bounce up and down, heavy and light?
Say a simple sentence in your native language out loud right now. Just analyze the physical rhythm of it. We'll give you a few seconds.
Try it right now.
See if you can feel the rhythm.
It's fascinating to finally notice the underlying machinery of something you do every single day.
It really is.
But this raises an immediate practical question. If English is bouncing between heavy beats and soft valleys, how do we know which words get the heavy beat?
Okay. So we divide words into two primary categories: content words and function words.
Content words and function words.
Yep. That's the structural foundation of English rhythm.
So content words, those are the words carrying the actual data of the sentence, right?
Exactly. Nouns, main verbs, adjectives, adverbs.
The core information.
Right. If you only heard the content words in a sentence, you would still understand the basic meaning.
So they carry the heavy beat.
Yes. They are the acoustic peaks of the sentence. They get the volume, the length, the pitch change.
Okay, and what about the function words?
Function words are just the grammatical glue.
Like prepositions, at, to, for.
Exactly. Articles like a or the, auxiliary verbs like can, have, or do.
Right.
Because these words don't carry the raw data of the message, they get aggressively compressed.
Aggressively compressed.
Yeah, they become very short, very soft, and they're just shoved into the valleys between the heavy peaks.
And this brings us right back to the illusion of speed.
Exactly. Native English speakers are not actually speaking impossibly fast.
Wait, really?
Really? The time it takes to move from one stressed content word to the next stressed content word remains relatively constant.
Oh, what?
To maintain that regular beat, the speaker simply compresses all the grammatical glue into the valleys.
Let's prove this to you, the listener, with a direct auditory test right now.
Let's do it.
We're going to do a listening activity based on this exact principle. I'm going to say a sentence, and I want you to count only the heavy beats.
Just count the words that physically stick out the most to your ear.
Right. Count them aloud. Here is the sentence. I hope it wasn't your idea.
We'll give you a couple of seconds.
Count the heavy beats out loud.
Okay, let's do it one more time.
I hope it wasn't your idea.
How many beats did you count?
There are exactly 4 beats.
Hope wasn't your idea.
4 beats. But wait, let's look at the actual syllable count of that sentence.
Okay, let's count out.
I hope it was. Your IDEA, that is 9 syllables of data.
9 syllables, but only 4 heavy beats.
Oh.
The words I and it are function words. They get squeezed so tightly into the valleys that you barely hear them.
They're robbed of their acoustic energy.
Exactly. So that hope and wasn't can land perfectly on that rhythmic beat.
This makes me think of an analogy. Imagine a musician sitting down to play a beautiful sweeping song on a grand piano.
Oh, I like this.
If I tell that musician to play every single note on that piano with the exact same heavy, crushing force, it doesn't sound beautiful anymore.
It sounds robotic.
Yeah, it sounds like a 1980s computer program generating sound, not a human expressing emotion.
That is a phenomenal analogy. And it directly addresses the psychological frustration that a lot of learners feel.
Right.
Because highly advanced learners, people who have meticulously studied pronunciation, they often try to pronounce every single word perfectly in isolation.
And so they end up sounding unnatural in real conversation.
Right, because they are hitting every single piano key with maximum equal force.
That is such a tragedy, honestly, because they're trying to be perfectly clear.
They are.
They're putting in maximum effort to respect the language, but ironically, hitting every key with equal force actually makes it harder for a native ear to process what they're saying.
Yes, because the native ear is waiting for the rhythm.
It's waiting for the peaks.
Exactly. To sound natural, you have to learn to play the loud notes and deliberately whisper the soft notes.
Let's practice playing the piano with our voices right now.
Good idea.
We're going to do a shadowing activity. Shadowing just means you listen, and then you repeat exactly what you hear, matching the physical rhythm of my voice.
So focus only on hitting the heavy beats. Literally do not worry if the small grammar words get messy. We actually want them to get messy.
Here is the sentence. The heavy beats are went, weak, and great.
Yeah.
Listen first.
Just listen.
I went there last week and it was great. Now you try it out loud. Hit those 3 beats with your voice.
You better try.
Try it again. Feel the bounce. I went there last week and it was great. Your turn out loud. Excellent.
You're beginning to feel the physical bounce of the language.
Finding the heartbeat. But, this brings up a huge mechanical question.
What's that?
If we're aggressively squeezing all these little function words together in the vowels, what physically happens to their sounds?
Ah.
I mean, the human mouth can only move so fast.
Yeah.
The sounds have to change, right?
They change dramatically. And this brings us to what is basically the absolute secret sound of the English language.
The secret sound. I love this topic. We're talking about reductions and the magic of the schwa.
Yes, the schwa. It's represented in the phonetic alphabet by an upside-down E.
Right.
And mathematically, it is the most common sound in the English language.
But it's completely invisible in our spelling system.
Totally invisible. And it's an incredibly short, incredibly relaxed sound. It just sounds like a lazy,
I want to break down the anatomy of this because the biomechanics are actually fascinating.
They are.
To make the schwa, you do almost nothing. I'll have you, the listener, try it right now.
Okay, follow along.
Drop your jaw so it's completely relaxed.
Yeah.
Let your tongue rest perfectly flat in the middle of your mouth.
Don't round your lips at all.
Just make a lazy exhaling sound from your vocal cords. Try it out loud right now. Just, perfect. It's the sound of absolute physical exhaustion.
Yeah, it really is. Now, why does this incredibly lazy sound matter so much? Because in connected speech, those small function words we talked about experience something called weak forms.
Weak forms. So the words actually change their pronunciation based on where they sit in the rhythm.
Yes, completely. Words like to, for, and a, they completely lose their strong vowel sounds.
The strong vowel is stripped away.
Stripped away and replaced by that lazy neutral schwa sound.
Give us a practical example.
Okay. If you read the phrase going to the park word by word as if you're reading a list, you say to with a strong oo sound.
Going. Cool.
Cool.
Exactly. But in a natural sentence, we use the weak form. It becomes going to the park.
Going to the park, the word to just becomes to.
Exactly. We reduce it so we can glide right over it and land heavily on park.
Let's do a test with our listener to really feel the difference. Let's call it the weak form test.
I like it.
I'm going to read a sentence very carefully, word by word, hitting every piano key equally. I want you to repeat it out loud exactly as robotic as I say it. Ready?
Here we go. I want to buy a book for my friend. Your turn. Out loud.
Nice and robotic.
Now, obviously, nobody actually speaks like that in real life.
Only on a news broadcast, maybe.
Right. So let's apply the weak forms. T becomes t. A becomes ah. For becomes fa.
Listen to the natural rhythm.
I want to buy a book for my friend.
Notice how the main beats, the content words, are want, by, book, friend.
Now you try it. Shadow the relaxed version. Let the grammar words turn to mush. I want to buy a book for my friend. Say it right now.
Really relax that jaw.
Beautiful. You're letting the language do the work.
It takes so much less energy.
But wait, I have to stop and push back here on behalf of our listener. I know you're probably thinking this too.
What's that?
If we swallow our words, if we actively drop sounds and use lazy vowels,
Yeah.
aren't we making it objectively harder for people to understand us? I mean, we spent years in classrooms being told to enunciate. Shouldn't we speak clearly to show respect for the listener?
That is such a logical way to look at it. It feels logical that speaking every word clearly is the best way to be understood.
Right.
But here is the fascinating psychological insight. Reductions actually help the listener.
Help them. How is that logically possible? How can messy, reduced speech help the listener understand me better?
It has to do with how the brain processes auditory data. Our brains are incredibly expensive organs to run.
They use a lot of energy.
Exactly. So they're wired to process information as efficiently as possible. When a native speaker listens to English, their brain completely ignores the grammar glue.
Really, complete.
It fundamentally does not care about the prepositions and articles. The brain is hunting exclusively for the content words to build the meaning of the story.
Oh, wow. So if I perfectly enunciate and stress a tiny grammar word, I am actually throwing a wrench into their cognitive processing.
Yes. Think about it. If you perfectly pronounce and stress the word for in that sentence, the listener's brain gets immediately confused.
Sleep, why did they stress for?
Exactly. The brain thinks, is that the most important part of the sentence? Did they mean that they're buying a book for their friend instead of against their friend?
Oh my gosh. You're sending false data signals to their brain.
Yes. So by reducing the small words, you're actually being deeply polite to the listener.
You're directing their attention strictly to the words that actually matter.
Precisely. Reduction is a profound form of empathy. You're clearing out the auditory clutter to make it easier for their brain to understand your core message.
Okay, this is a massive shift in perspective. Fluency is not the perfect pronunciation of every letter on the page.
Not at all.
Fluency is the art of guiding the listener's ear using rhythm.
It's about directing traffic in their brain.
Wow. So once we know how to shrink the unimportant words using the schwa, what is the next step? Because we need to know how to glue the important words together so the rhythm doesn't break, right?
Yes, and this leads us perfectly into the concept of connected speech.
Connected speech.
These are the invisible bridges between words.
I always tell people that natural English flows like a river. There are almost no hard stops between words.
If you put a hard silent stop between every word, it sounds incredibly jarring.
Right.
It shatters the rhythm entirely. Connected speech is simply the physical habit of blending the end of one word into the exact beginning of the next word.
And there are rules for this, right?
There are 4 main rules of flow that we use to build these invisible bridges, and they're all based entirely on the physics of the human mouth.
Let's walk through these 4 rules. We'll keep it conversational, but let's really understand the why behind them. What is rule number 1?
Rule number 1 is called linking. Linguists also call it catenation.
Linking. Simple enough.
This happens when a word ends in a consonant sound and the next word begins with a vowel sound.
Consonant to vowel.
Right. Because moving from a consonant to a vowel is incredibly easy for the vocal tract. You just pull the consonant over to the start of the next word.
We just drag the letter across the space. Can you give us an example?
Think of the phrase pick it up.
Pick it up.
Kick ends in a K sound. It starts with an I sound. It ends with a T sound. Up starts with a U sound.
Okay.
We link them all together by dragging the consonants forward. It literally becomes pick it up.
Pick it up. Wow. It sounds like one brand new 3-syllable word. Pike it up.
Exactly. The brain processes it as a single chunk of sound.
Okay, let's try a linking challenge right now with the listener.
Ready?
I'm going to give you a phrase. Leave us alone.
Leave us alone.
Leave ends in a V consonant sound. Us starts with a U vowel. Us ends with an S consonant. Alone starts with an A vowel.
Lots of consonants and vowels there.
I want you to pull those consonants forward. Say it out loud as if it were one single long word. You have 5 seconds. Go.
Say it out loud.
Right, how'd you do? When the consonants bridge across, it should sound like this.
Leave us alone.
Leave us alone. Beautiful. Okay, what is rule number 2 of the river?
Rule number 2 is assimilation. This one is a bit more dramatic.
Grammatic?
This is when 2 distinct sounds crash into each other and combine to make a completely brand new sound.
A brand new sound, like a chemical reaction.
Yes. And it happens because your tongue physically cannot move fast enough from one position to another, so it compromises and finds a sound in the middle.
Oh, that makes total sense.
The most common example is when a T sound meets a Y sound. When you say, what are you? The T and the Y and you smash together on your palate.
And what do they create?
They create a winter sound.
Yes. What you doing?
Exactly. Or a D colliding with a Y, would you naturally becomes woulda.
Would Let's have you try that one out loud. Feel how the tongue compromises. Say, would you help me right now?
Let's try it. Woulda.
Great. So that chemical reaction is assimilation. What is rule number 3?
Rule number 3 is intrusion.
Intrusion.
This is when we are gliding from one vowel sound directly into another vowel sound.
Vowel to vowel.
Right. Vowels require an open vocal tract, and moving between 2 open sounds can create an awkward, choppy silence. To make the bridge smooth, we physically add a hidden consonant sound.
Wait, we add a sound.
Yeah, we intrude with a W, a Y, or an R.
We add a sound that is entirely invisible in the spelling.
Yes, because the lips demand it. Say the words, go out. Try to connect them without stopping your breath or closing your throat. Go out.
Go out. Oh.
Do you feel it?
Yes. As my lips move from the rounded O to the open out, I physically feel my lips making a W sound in the middle. Go out!
That is the W intrusion. It is unavoidable if you're speaking smoothly. Try saying, see it.
See it? See it? Oh, because my lips are pulled back in a smile for the E sound.
Right.
And dragging them to the I sound creates a Y. I hear a Y sound.
Exactly. These hidden intrusive sounds act as the lubricant that makes the river flow smoothly.
Try it with me right now. Say, do it out loud and feel your lips naturally create that hidden W. Do it. Try it. Nice. Okay, we have linking, assimilation, and intrusion. What is the fourth and final rule of connected speech?
The fourth rule is elision. This simply means dropping sounds entirely. They just disappear from the sentence.
Which sounds get dropped?
Usually it is a T or D at the absolute end of a word, especially if the very next word starts with a strong consonant.
Like it's just too much work for the mouth.
Exactly. The tongue just refuses to do the extra work. For example, the phrase next door. We do not say next door with a heavily aspirated T in the middle.
Right.
We drop the T completely. It becomes next door.
Next door. It's just aerodynamic efficiency.
Yes.
Now, I know if you're listening to this, you might be feeling a little overwhelmed. You might be thinking, do I really have to memorize the names of these linguistic rules to speak English? Catenation, elision.
No, absolutely not. You do not need to memorize any of these terms. You just need to know that the mouth behaves this way. But here's the most important reason we're taking the time to explain them. Practicing these linking rules out loud is actually the master key to improving your listening comprehension.
Let's highlight this, because this is a massive breakthrough. How does moving my mouth improve my ability to hear?
Because your auditory cortex is deeply wired to your motor cortex.
Okay.
When you train your mouth to physically make the links, when you practice saying whatcha or leave you alone, you're updating the database in your brain.
Wow.
Suddenly, your ear stops hearing whatcha as a terrifying brand new vocabulary word it doesn't recognize.
Oh. So when a frustrated learner complains that they can't understand native speakers in movies, it's because their brain is frantically listening for perfectly isolated dictionary form words.
Exactly. But the native speaker is producing connected, assimilated speech.
The learner thinks they have a vocabulary problem.
But they don't. They have a decoding problem. When you practice creating connected speech yourself, your brain recognizes the pattern.
It instantly translates whatcha into what are you?
Yes. Your listening comprehension improves exponentially because you taught your mouth how the trick is done.
That is the ultimate confidence booster right there.
Yeah.
You practice speaking to improve your listening.
It really works.
Okay, so far we've talked a lot about physical flow, rhythm, connecting words at high speed.
Yeah.
But here is where the psychology gets really fascinating. Because sometimes the most powerful and fluent thing you can possibly do in a second language is absolutely nothing.
Yes, we absolutely must talk about the power of the pause.
A major source of anxiety for English learners is the overwhelming fear of pausing.
Yeah.
I hear this all the time from brilliant professionals.
Yeah, I hear it too.
They say, if I pause in a meeting, people will think I forgot the language. They'll think I'm incompetent.
That fear is very real and it is paralyzing, but it is entirely psychological.
Right.
We need to look at the actual physiology of anxiety to understand what happens in the brain when we panic in a second language.
Let's dive into that. What literally happens in our brains when we're put on the spot? Say, in a job interview or a high-stakes conversation.
When you're under social pressure, your amygdala detects a threat.
Okay.
Your brain experiences a spike in cortisol, a stress hormone, and this anxiety immediately hijacks your prefrontal cortex, which is where your working memory lives.
Let's use an analogy here. I like to think of working memory like the RAM in a computer.
Perfect analogy.
If you have too many programs running fear of judgment, translating from your native language, worrying about grammar rules, your RAM is completely maxed out.
That is exactly what happens. Your brain's bandwidth is so busy managing your heart rate and your fear of looking foolish that it leaves zero RAM available for vocabulary retrieval.
Wow.
You literally cannot find the word you studied yesterday. Not because you don't know it, but because your brain's filing cabinet is locked by anxiety.
So what does a highly anxious speaker do when they hit that locked cabinet?
An anxious speaker is terrified of silence, so they fill it with garbage.
Right, they say,
They panic and start babbling. But a confident speaker does something fundamentally different. A confident speaker uses silence as a deliberate tool.
They claim their right to pause. They own the silence.
Yes, they know that a well-placed pause actually makes them sound more authoritative, more thoughtful, and more intelligent.
But how do we actually do that in practice? If a client asks me a highly complex question, I can't just stare at them in dead silence for 10 seconds while my RAM reboots.
No, that is intensely awkward. You cannot just freeze. You have to signal to the listener that the pause is intentional, not a glitch.
Okay.
You do this using specific strategies, primarily something called bridge phrases.
Bridge phrases. I love this. These are phrases that literally build a linguistic bridge over the awkward silence.
Yes. They buy your brain's RAM a crucial fraction of a second to retrieve the vocabulary.
Can you give us an example?
For example, instead of panicking and saying, you take a breath and say, let me think about that for a moment.
Let me think about that for a moment. Let's have you, the listener, try that. I want you to say it slowly, thoughtfully, and with authority out loud. Say it now.
Make it sound deliberate.
It feels powerful, doesn't it? It puts you in control. What is another highly effective bridge phrase?
You could say, that's an interesting point, or that is a great question.
I use that one all the time.
It's so good. These phrases do two things. First, they stroke the ego of the listener by acknowledging their input.
Always a good move.
And second, they give your prefrontal cortex 2 or 3 seconds of breathing room to find the vocabulary without any pressure.
Let's do a real-life simulation activity. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to start your out loud answer using this exact bridge phrase. That's an interesting question.
After you deliver the bridge phrase smoothly, we'll give you a full 10 seconds to finish your answer. Take your time. Don't rush.
Ready? Here's the question. What is the most difficult part of your daily routine?
Start with the bridge phrase out loud.
Good. Keep going.
Take your time.
Awesome. I hope you felt how that simple loud phrase gave you a moment of calm, a shield against panic before you had to find the actual content.
The moment of psychological calm is everything in language acquisition. And there is another crucial strategy for managing your cognitive load.
What's that?
Linguists call it controlled complexity.
Controlled complexity. What exactly does that mean?
Sometimes, despite your best efforts, you start a long, ambitious sentence, and halfway through you get completely lost in the weeds.
Yes.
The grammar gets hopelessly tangled, you forget the point you were trying to make, and the panic sets in.
We have absolutely all been there. You feel like you're sinking in quicksand, and every word you add just pulls you deeper into the mud.
When that happens, anxious speakers try to force their way out. They keep tacking on clauses and conjunctions, making the sentence messier and more confusing.
And what do confident speakers do?
Confident speakers do the exact opposite. They just stop.
They literally just abandon the sentence in midair.
Yes. They hit the brakes and they say a reset phrase, something like, let me put that another way. And then they start completely over from the beginning with a much shorter, simpler sentence structure.
Let me put that another way. That is a brilliant piece of language. It shows total, unflappable control.
It tells the listener, I am not failing at English. I am simply editing my own thoughts for maximum clarity.
Try saying that reset phrase out loud right now so it's ready in your muscle memory when you need it. Let me put that another way.
Say it out loud.
Pausing, bridging, and resetting. It gives you total psychological control of the room. But how do we structure our sentences to make sure our main point lands with perfect impact after that pause?
That is where we move out of survival mode and into the art of shaping the message. We need to talk about information focus.
Okay, so we found our rhythm, we've linked our words, we've learned to manage our cognitive RAM with pauses. Now we're stepping into some highly advanced syntactic territory.
We are. We're going to look at a subtle, beautiful grammar trick that native speakers use intuitively to emphasize critical information.
Without ever having to raise their voice or bang their fist on the table.
Exactly. Linguists call these cleft sentences.
Now, I know grammatical terms can sound intimidating, but don't let the jargon scare you. It's actually a very elegant, simple concept. What does the word cleft actually mean?
To cleave or to cleft something physically means to split it into 2 distinct pieces.
Like a cleft palate or a cleft in a rock.
Exactly. Cleft sentences take a basic standard idea and split it into 2 separate clauses to create a highly specific spotlight or focus on one piece of data.
Okay, let's break this down systematically. Give us a basic, standard English sentence.
A standard declarative sentence would be, we need leadership.
Okay, we need leadership. Short, direct, subject, verb, object.
Right. Now, how do we cleave that? How do we split it into a cleft sentence?
Yeah, how do we do it?
There are 3 main ways. The first is called the it cleft. Instead of saying we need leadership, you split it by saying it's leadership that we need.
It's leadership that we need. Wow, I can actually hear how the acoustic emphasis shifts completely onto the word leadership. It feels much weightier.
Yes. You split the sentence into the topic, which is the old information that everyone in the room already knows.
The fact that we need something.
Right. And you separate it from the comment, which is the new, exciting, critical focus, leadership.
What is the second type of split?
The way Cleft. Using the exact same example, we would restructure it to say, what we need is leadership.
What we need is leadership. Listener, I want you to say that one out loud. Feel how the sentence builds tension leading up to the final word. Say it right now.
Build that tension.
Okay. What was the third type?
The third type is simply the reverse way Cleft. We just flip the architecture around. Leadership is what we need.
Leadership is what we need. Okay, I have to step in and play devil's advocate here.
Go.
Why use all these extra words? In modern business, aren't we taught that brevity is best? If I can just say, we need leadership in 3 words, why spend the mental energy to construct a bulky cleft sentence? Is it just to sound sophisticated?
That is a very sharp pushback, and it gets to the heart of how language works socially. It is not about sounding fancy.
Okay.
Clefts are psychological tools to manage the listener's expectations. They build anticipation.
Anticipation, like a drum roll before a big reveal in a magic trick.
Exactly. If you're in a boardroom and you use a quick cleft saying, what we need is, you're deliberately holding the listener in suspense.
You're signaling to their brain, pay close attention, the most important word is coming right now.
Yes, and then you deliver the punchline. Leadership. You place the maximum semantic impact at the very end of the sentence.
That is incredibly powerful for a professional setting or a debate. You're not just transmitting data, you're guiding the listener's ear exactly where you want them to go.
It demonstrates that you are no longer just struggling to produce a second language. You are actively managing the communication. You're in the driver's seat.
Let's do a sentence transformation activity so you can feel this control.
Get ready to speak.
I'm going to give you a very basic, boring sentence. I love coffee in the morning. I want you to transform it into a dramatic we cleft out loud.
Start the sentence with the word what.
You have 5 seconds. Go.
Out loud.
Okay, let's hear how that sounds when you manage the tension. What I love in the morning is coffee.
Or, what I love is coffee in the morning.
Both are excellent. You successfully shifted the spotlight directly onto the specific thing you love. Let's try one more to lock it in. How about a reverse we cleft?
Good idea.
Let's take the corporate sentence. We are focusing on growth. Transform that into a reverse we cleft to punch up the urgency. Start with the word growth. Say it now.
Growth is what we're focusing on.
Excellent. By putting the most important word at the absolute front of the sentence, you instantly capture their attention.
This moves us perfectly into our final major topic today.
Yes, we're talking about managing communication, capturing attention, and navigating high-stakes environments. This is the realm of professional fluency.
Right. When adult learners reach the B2 or C1 level, they're rarely just ordering coffee or asking for directions anymore.
They find themselves in highly complex environments. Work meetings, project pitches, deep intellectual debates, conflict resolution.
And in those environments, there is a very common, very dangerous trap that advanced learners fall into.
What's the trap?
They think that to sound confident and fluent, they must be extremely direct.
Ooh, yes.
That is the ultimate trap. In many cultures around the world, blunt directness is prized as a sign of honesty.
But in professional English, especially in British and North American, corporate cultures being overly direct can actually sound incompetent.
It sounds aggressive, rigid, or combative.
For example, if a senior colleague proposes an idea at a strategy meeting, and you reply by saying that is a bad idea, that is grammatically flawless. But professionally, it is a complete disaster.
Right. It shuts down the conversation, it embarrasses the colleague, it leaves absolutely no room for collaborative discussion.
So what's the alternative?
True professional fluency requires the mastery of something called hedging.
Hedging. Let's explore that metaphor. Like planting a literal hedge in a garden.
It's a very similar concept.
Yeah.
A physical hedge in a garden softens a hard, aggressive brick wall. It makes the boundary look natural and inviting.
Oh, I see.
Hedging in linguistics is the deliberate use of softening words and phrases to show nuance, intellectual humility, and an openness to other perspectives.
Softening language to show intellectual humility. What does that actually sound like in a boardroom?
Instead of dropping the hammer and saying, that is a bad idea, a fluent, emotionally intelligent professional might say, I might be wrong about this, but I have some concerns about that approach.
I might be wrong about this, but that is such a disarming diplomatic phrase. It instantly puts the other person at ease.
Exactly. You're not attacking their intelligence. You're inviting them to join you in considering a different angle.
Are there other good hedging phrases?
Another highly effective hedge is, my initial read on this would be,
Oh, that's good.
it signals that you are offering a preliminary impression, not a final, absolute, arrogant judgment.
I want you to try that one out loud right now, listener.
Mhm.
It is arguably the most useful phrase you can bring to a meeting. Say it with thoughtful tone out loud. My initial read on this would be.
Nice and thoughtful.
Great.
And here is one more fantastic hedge. From where I stand, this physically illustrates that you recognize you only have one vantage point, one perspective.
And you acknowledge that others in the room might see the problem differently.
Yes.
Now, to really sound like a master of professional fluency, we need to weave some highly precise, advanced vocabulary into these hedged structures. Because at the C1 level, we want to retire simple words.
Precision is the hallmark of advanced fluency. We want to aggressively avoid overusing basic placeholders like good, bad, big, or important.
Let's introduce 4 highly effective, precise words to elevate your speech. The first is meticulous. It means extremely careful, paying obsessive attention to every tiny detail.
In a meeting, instead of saying, we need to be careful, you might say, my initial read is that we need to be meticulous with this data.
Love that. The second word is inevitable, unavoidable, something that is destined to happen regardless of what you do.
If we don't fix this software bug, a system crash is inevitable.
The third is absurd, ridiculous, wildly unreasonable, or illogical.
Now, you have to be careful with this one. You would never directly call a colleague's idea absurd,
Never.
but you might use it to critique an external problem. The current budget constraints imposed by the client are bordering on absurd.
And the fourth word is mundane. Ordinary, dull, highly repetitive, lacking excitement.
We need to automate these mundane administrative tasks so the team can focus on strategy.
Meticulous, inevitable, absurd, mundane. Let's program these into your muscle memory right now.
Say them out loud.
Say those 4 words out loud with me, feeling the stress-timed rhythm on each one.
Meticulous.
Try it. Next,
Absurd.
one more.
Mundane.
Great. Now let's put all of this together, the pausing, the rhythm, the hedging, the vocabulary, into a professional pushback simulation.
This is the ultimate test of everything we've discussed today.
I am going to set the scenario. Imagine I am your colleague, and I just proposed a genuinely terrible, expensive idea at work.
Really terrible.
I want you to push back gently using a hedge.
Yeah.
Do not just say no or that is bad. Give me a soft diplomatic pushback. You have 5 seconds to construct it. Go.
Think of a hedge out loud.
How did that feel? Did you manage the tension?
A masterful response in that scenario might be, I completely take your point, but I might frame it slightly differently.
Or using our new vocabulary? That is an interesting approach, but my initial read is that we need to be much more meticulous with the budget here.
I take your point, but it's such a fantastic, versatile tool.
When you master these soft skills, when you truly understand the bouncing rhythm of the language, when you use the pauses instead of feeling them, and when you shape your message with clefts, all of this leads to one ultimate realization about speaking a second language as an adult.
It really does. Reaching advanced fluency is not actually a linguistic journey anymore. It is fundamentally a psychological journey.
Yes.
It is a massive identity shift.
It's an identity shift. I want to link around this. Tell us exactly what you mean by that.
Well, we started this entire conversation by asking if you feel like a smaller, quieter version of yourself when you speak English.
Right.
The identity shift happens the moment you deeply realize that you don't have to be. The English language isn't a tight, restrictive suit that you are forced to wear.
I love that image. Not a tight suit where you're terrified to breathe or move in case you rip the fabric.
Exactly. No. English is a room. It is a physical space that you inhabit. It is a room where you have the absolute right to move around, to rearrange the furniture to suit your needs, and to be entirely, vibrantly yourself.
You can pause when you need to think. You can gracefully rephrase when you get tangled. You can hedge to protect your relationships.
And you can boldly guide the conversation where you want it to go.
You are fundamentally allowed to take up space in the English language. You are allowed to pause. You're allowed to breathe. You belong in the room.
Exactly. Fluency is not about possessing perfect grammar. It is about feeling entirely comfortable in the room.
So how do we get comfortable in that room on a daily basis? We've covered an immense amount of ground today.
We really have.
To summarize, it is about feeling the heartbeat of stress-timed rhythm.
It's about softening the function words and letting your mouth find that lazy, relaxed schwa.
It's about using connected speech to build aerodynamic bridges between your consonants and vowels.
It's about claiming your absolute right to pause in order to manage your cognitive RAM.
And it is about using hedging and cleft sentences to guide your listener exactly where you want them to go.
But here's the stark reality. Absolutely none of this matters if it just stays as theoretical knowledge in your head.
Which brings me to our final actionable takeaway for you. Language is built through daily, mundane, physical practice.
It is purely muscle memory. You cannot learn to play a Beethoven sonata on the piano just by reading a textbook about pianos.
Right, you have to sit on the bench and physically touch the keys.
You do.
So we want you to create a strictly 10-minute daily speaking habit, and it does not require a speaking partner.
In fact, it is better if you don't have one at first. You can and should do this completely alone.
I challenge you to start tomorrow morning. While you're making your coffee or while you're getting dressed, simply narrate your morning routine out loud in English.
Use the stress-timed rhythms we talked about. Hit the heavy beats. Use the bridge phrases to buy yourself time.
If you are pouring water, say aloud, "What I am doing right now is making coffee." That is a perfectly executed with Cleft right there.
Yes. Talk to yourself. Build that physical, muscular habit of speaking without the crushing pressure of an audience judging you.
10 minutes a day of narrating your life will completely transform your psychological comfort level over time.
It's entirely about steady, imperfect progress over time.
And before we let you go, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. We live in an era where AI translation is becoming practically flawless.
True.
Within a few years, an earpiece could translate your native language into perfect English in real time. So why even bother going through the agony of learning to speak it yourself?
That's a profound question.
Because true fluency isn't about data transfer, it's about human connection. An AI can translate your words, but it cannot replicate your rhythm, your intentional pauses, your subtle hedges.
Or the vulnerability of you sharing a physical, linguistic space with another human being.
Exactly. That shared heartbeat is exactly why we do this.
That is a beautiful truth. The humanity is in the rhythm, not just the vocabulary.
Before we say goodbye, we're going to do one final listener activity to cement this identity shift. I want you to plant a seed of physical confidence right now.
I want you to say one final sentence aloud.
Yeah.
Say it with a strong, unapologetic, stress-timed rhythm. Hit the heavy beats.
I am becoming a more confident speaker every day. Your turn. Say it out loud and own the room.
Go ahead.
Let's do it one more time. Make the piano ring. I am becoming a more confident speaker every day.
Say it like you mean it.
You truly are. Thank you for doing the heavy lifting and the hard work today.
Keep practicing and keep speaking out loud every single morning.
And remember, that terrifying X-ray machine of perfect grammar. We're leaving that behind forever. We're embracing the natural, muddy, beautifully connected flow of real human communication. We're so immensely proud of the work you put in today. Until next time, keep finding your rhythm.